Once upon a time, in a faraway village, there lived a family of 3 beautiful daughters. The youngest of these daughters was named Aloe, which means gold. Her parents chose this name because they believed she was as precious as gold. However, because of her striking beauty, everyone in the village began to call her Ma, which means beauty. As Aloe grew, her beauty shone brighter, and the nickname stuck. It became so common that even her family began to call her Ma. Eventually, everyone forgot that her real name was Aloe. When Ma introduced herself, she used the name everyone knew her by. "You're truly beautiful, like a red gem." The villagers would admire her, and so Ma became her identity, known and admired by everyone in the village. Ma was not just beautiful, she was also kind-hearted and very talented at sewing clothes. As the youngest of 3 daughters, she looked up to her older siblings, Iforma and Adobe, who were also very beautiful. Ma loved her family deeply and was proud of her sisters. However, as she grew older, she began to notice that beauty alone did not guarantee happiness. Iforma and Adobe had captivated the hearts of wealthy men who came from the city to marry them. However, their beauty, which seemed to be a blessing, turned out to be a double-edged sword. As Ma grew up, she witnessed her sisters' weddings, which were grand affairs filled with music, dancing, and promises of a bright future. The men who married Iforma and Adobe had promised their parents that they would support the girls in furthering their education, but once they were married, these promises were broken. Iforma's husband, despite his wealth, was unfaithful and often left her feeling lonely and abandoned. Adobe's husband, on the other hand, was abusive and constantly accused her of infidelity. Both sisters were trapped in their unhappy marriages, unable to leave because they lacked skills or education to support themselves independently. One afternoon, Ma visited Iforma in the city. The mansion was beautiful, but the atmosphere inside was cold and sad. Iforma sat by the window, looking miserable. "You have to be careful," Iforma warned, her voice trembling. "Don't let our fate become yours. Beauty can attract the wrong kind of attention." Ma nodded solemnly, understanding the depth of her sister's despair. She then visited Adobe, who had a bruise on her cheek from a recent beating. "Why don't you leave him?" Ma asked, tears welling in her eyes. "I have nowhere to go, and I don't want to burden our parents. Besides, they rely on the money he sends them," Adobe replied, her voice barely a whisper. Ma returned home from visiting her sisters in the city, her arms full of goodies she had brought back, gifts of clothes, food, and other items her sisters had given her. Her mother greeted her warmly as she entered their small, modest house in the village. "Ma, you're back," she exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. "What did you bring?" Ma handed her mother the bags. "Here, Mama. These are from Iforma and Adobe. They wanted to make sure you have everything you need." Ma's mother began to unpack the bags, smiling at the contents, but Ma's heart was heavy. She couldn't hold back her feelings any longer. "Mama, I need to talk to you," Ma said, her voice serious. She looked up, sensing the urgency in her daughter's tone. "What is it, my child?" Ma took a deep breath. "Iforma and Adobe are suffering. Iforma's husband cheats on her all the time." Her mother sighed and shook her head. "Ma, you're still young. You do not understand marriage yet. When you grow up, you will see that a woman must be strong and endure her marriage, just like I have." Ma was confused. "But Mama, why should they stay if they're unhappy?" Ma's mother sat down and looked at Ma with a tired expression. "Do you think I stay with your father because I am happy all the time?" "No, Ma, I stay because it is my duty as a wife and mother. We must be strong for our family." Ma felt a wave of sadness wash over her. "But Mama, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to suffer like Iforma and Adobe." Her mother took Ma's hand gently. "Every woman has her struggles. Marriage is not always easy, but we must do what we can to keep our family together." Ma's eyes filled with tears. "Mama, I promise you, I will not settle for a marriage like my sisters. I want to study, become a fashion designer, and make my own way in life." Her mother looked at her daughter with a mix of pride and worry. "You're smart, Ma. I hope your dreams come true, But remember, life is not always as simple as we wish it to be. Ma nodded, understanding her mother's words, but still resolute in her heart. She knew she had to follow her own path, no matter how difficult it might be. She hugged her mother tightly, feeling a deep love for her, but also a firm resolve to change her own destiny. Ma was walking home from school, chatting with her friends from high school. They were all in awe of her skill in needlework, praising her designs and talent. "You are so talented," everyone said. "Love your clothes," said Chor, one of her friends. "Thank you, Chor," Ma replied with a smile. "I just love making beautiful things." As they were about to part ways, Ma turned to another friend, Amar. "Amar, please remind your mother that I will finish her dress this weekend. She can come and collect it on Sunday." "I will, thank you so much," Amar responded cheerfully. They all waved goodbye, and Ma continued her journey home. As she walked down the dusty village road, a shiny luxury car drove past her. Then, suddenly, it reversed back. The window rolled down, and a well-dressed man called out to her. "Hello there, beautiful." "What's your name?" the man asked, smiling. Ma stopped and looked at him, feeling uncomfortable. "My name is Ma. What do you want?" The man grinned. "You are very beautiful, Ma. I like you. I want to get to know you better." Ma frowned and shook her head. "Thank you, but I'm not interested." The man seemed surprised by her response, but didn't give up. He asked where she lived and drove to her house. When he arrived, he spoke to Ma's parents, telling them the same story her sister's husbands had told. "I want to marry your daughter," the man said confidently. "I will take her to the city and help her further her studies. She will have a good life with me." Ma's parents were excited and tried to convince her. "This is a good opportunity for you. He's a wealthy man, and he will take care of you." But Ma was firm. "No, Mama, Papa, I do not want to marry him. I want to continue my studies and become a fashion designer." Despite her parents' attempts to persuade her, Ma refused the man's proposal. Over time, many other suitors came, each promising her heaven and earth, but Ma turned them all down. At the end of the year, the results from her school exams were announced. Ma was nervous, but hopeful as she went to check her results. When she saw her scores, she was overjoyed. She had passed with flying colors, and her dream of going to college to study fashion designing was within reach. She ran home to share the good news with her parents. "Mama, Papa, I passed my exams with high marks. I can go to college now." Her parents were proud and happy for her. "We are so proud of you, Ma. You have worked so hard, and now you will achieve your dreams." Ma began her journey to the city to study fashion design with the money she had saved from sewing clothes for the villagers. Her sister Adobe also helped her pay for college for the whole year. When Ma arrived in the city, she stayed with Adobe, since Adobe's house was closer to the college. On Ma's first day at college, she attracted a lot of attention. Her beauty and the stylish clothes she had designed for herself made her stand out. Everyone, including the lecturers, noticed her. A group of ladies often came up to her to compliment her outfits. "Wow, your dress is amazing. Did you make it yourself?" one of the girls asked. "Yes, I did," Ma replied with a smile. "She is so talented and beautiful," another girl said, and everyone nodded in agreement. When Ma walked through the college, people stared at her, admiring her beauty and talent. That first week was very exciting for her. Many girls wanted to be her friend, and they would wave at her from a distance or call out, "How are you, Ma?" They would even ignore whoever she was working with just to get attention. Ma received a lot of attention from the guys, too. Even guys from other faculties would hang around Ma's faculty just to talk to her or ask if they could buy her lunch. "Hi, would you like to have lunch with me today?" one of the boys asked. "Thank you, but I already have plans," Ma replied politely. Despite all the attention, Ma was unsure who truly liked her for who she was. She felt that people were drawn to her looks rather than her personality. After the first week of classes, Ma was due to move into the college residence. That Friday, after her classes, she went back to Adobe's house. She could hear Adobe and her husband arguing, which made her very upset. That night, Ma took her old ribbon door and started sewing a mask to cover her face. The door was small, so she had to put many pieces together, resulting in a lot of stitches. Ma didn't care about the appearance of the mask, she just needed something to cover her face. She used the silicone texture of the door, which felt like real skin but looked hideous. On Sunday night, Adobe drove Ma to the residence where she would stay. They hugged and said goodbye. "I will come to visit you whenever I can, okay? Study hard," Adobe said to Ma. Ma was alone in the residence because her roommate had not yet moved in. On Monday, Ma went to school wearing her face mask. No one recognized her as Ma. As soon as she reached the academic area, everyone was whispering and laughing. "What is that?" someone said. Ma went to the friends she had made during the first week and told them, "It's me." They laughed scornfully. "Do you think you can ever look as beautiful as Ma?" they mocked. "Don't look our way," they added. In class, everyone started asking, "Where is Ma today?" Even the lecturers, who admired her beauty, asked, but no one knew. The first day of the week was very long for Ma. Students from other halls came just to see her. No one wanted to be seen hanging out with her during breaks. It was like a museum exhibit. Everyone came to watch her, but Ma didn't care. She was used to being famous for her beauty, and now she was getting used to being noticed for her ugliness.